is in danger. Okay, the OGL is in super danger. And if you don't know what the OGL is the Open Game License for D&D. And basically, what it is they want to take 25% of all earnings from creators. I believe for the most part,
man.
like if this goes through, nothing that you make in D&D is yours. It's no longer your property; it's their property. And so basically Wizards of the Coast is just fucking over their entire fan base. And this is pretty massive. Right now, I think it's trending 3.4 million on Twitter, which is an insanely high number. If you don't know about Twitter analytics, 3.4 million's a lot. So, yo, and thank you so much, LYG, Mr. Panda, for that. I really do appreciate those words. Make me feel good. So, let's watch this. Greed, lies, and massive D&D drama.
So we are 1 week into 2023, and Wizards of the Coast are already going for the ultra any percent speed run of destroying their own company as quickly as possible. Unless you fell into a coma on December 23rd and you've only just woke up, you have heard about the insane drama unfolding around Wizards of the Coast trying to update the Open Gaming License, or the OGL. This is basically a document that allows the public to create content using an abstracted, watered-down version of the D&D rules. Every D&D fan...
The reason why this is so important is for fan projects like Vox Machina. There's a TV show called Vox Machina. For Critical Role. For small creators who make things. Like this guy, he makes videos on YouTube. He would no longer be able to take all that earning. It would go to D&D, Wizards of the Coast. Because they would just take a little bit from everybody. They take a huge amount of people's money. And it's just a greedy thing to do. It's not protecting a brand. People don't really care about the brand.
Thing you've seen uses this reference. My magazine, the DM Secret Weapon.
True, it'll hurt small people the most, but I also think like big people like the Critical Role people who we love so much to watch, they're gonna end up like transitioning away from D&D completely. Like it doesn't matter how much money that like Critical Role make, if they have to give 25% of their earnings to D&D Beyond or D&D the company, like, or Wizards of the Coast, like that's crazy. That's insane, and no business owner would take that lying down. That's insane.
On Patreon. Every D&D Kickstarter, Critical Role stuff, Pathfinder, even massive video games like the Knights of the Old Republic. Yes, those games use...
They are trademarking the words strength, intelligence, wisdom, constitution, charisma. These are all getting trademarked as D&D owned. So games like even World of Warcraft, other games too, are hurt by this.
The Open Gaming License. This was amazing for WotC and D&D because it made their system the system that every...
I think that knowing... Okay, so to your question first, Panda. Knowing who Matt Mercer is and knowing who the D&D Critical Role crew are, they are community first. So, if this went through, which I don't think Matt thinks it'll go through, if it goes through, I think Matt Mercer would leave. I think he would stand with the community. Matt Mercer has always been a community first person. He would definitely not stand by it. He would not take a deal. He would definitely be like, okay, guys, we're just going to make our own thing. I 100% believe that would happen.
Everyone uses. Okay, so a key part of this thing...
They increase the prices of the product by 25%, find a way to reduce the cost. I don't believe Critical Role would ever do that. So, like, for once, like, Critical Role is, like, one of the only companies I can think of that is, like, made by voice actors and fans, and they do not do scumbag shit like that. They just don't. They don't do that. So while they could do that, I don't think they will.
Was the promise that this OGL would last forever. You could make your content now, and you wouldn't be screwed over later by Wizards of the Coast trying to change their mind. In a Q&A from 2001, which WotC have since taken down because apparently they don't know that web archives are a thing, Wizards of the Coast said, even if Wizards made a change to the OGL you disagreed with, you could continue to use an earlier, acceptable version at your option. In other words, there's no reason for Wizards to ever make a change that the community of the people using the Open Gaming License would object to, because the community would just ignore the change anyway. So here comes the kick in the balls. Wizards of the Coast have decided to fuck that right off and attempt to completely screw over every content creator. They are attempting to revoke the old license and replace it with a new one, which is just so cartoonishly evil and horrible that when I saw a leak of it in December, I didn't want to publish a video about it because I knew you wouldn't believe me. But now the leak's out there, so we can all see just how greedy and vicious Wizards of the Coast are actually being. There's a lot in here, but I'm going to give you the cliff notes of basically what they are trying to do. 1. Wizards get the right to use any content that anyone makes for any reason and pay 0 royalties. Basically, anything anyone makes is theirs, and they can sell it forever and give you nothing. They can steal it, basically. 2, you have to report everything to WotC. You have to tell them what you made, you have to tell them what you charge, you have to tell them what you earned.
And the reason why this is crazy, by the way, is because, yes, like, you're using the foundational, like, building blocks of D&D, but, like, when you make a story in the D&D universe, you can make a story that is 100% unbelievably, like, new and fresh. Like Critical Role, like, it's all new stuff. For the most part. Like my campaign that I'm playing with my friends, it's 100% new for the most part. There's almost nothing in the campaign that isn't new, except for like standard classes that are already pre-built. And even then, some people in my group are using like Pathfinder classes or classes that are custom made, right? Like we have a fucking necromantic melee caster, like a necromage caster. Like that's not even a thing. You know what I mean? So like, it's one of those things where it's like this doesn't make any sense because like 90% of the stuff that like we do even in D&D is custom made stuff. So you're saying just the baseline all over, it's no longer ours, which is crazy.
Basically, a ton of red tape for all creators to jump through to make it super easy for Wizards of the Coast to steal your stuff. 3. You can only create content if you sign this agreement. If you try to create content without signing, they will sue you. Okay, this is where it gets really messed up, and I want to stress this. Wizards planned to release this document on January 4th, with the deadline to sign being January the 13th. They gave creators 1 week to sign up to this awful deal, or their business was over. They could not publish again without being sued. There are creators out there whose entire livelihoods are based around making D&D content. Wizards essentially said you have 1 week to agree to this disgustingly, offensively bad deal for you, and if you don't sign, you can't make stuff. It's your choice, but if you want to be able to feed your kids and pay your mortgage, you probably better sign, shouldn't you? Most D&D creators aren't rich. They're just normal, self-employed people getting by. This deal was designed to destroy them or force them to give everything to Wizards. But don't worry, it gets so much worse. 4. Wizards can change anything.
I mean, they literally turn into a villain from the game. Like they literally just change into a D&D evil villain, like an old like Inquisitor just taking money from people in the street town. Like, it's crazy.
Do OGL at any time, and they only need to give 30 days notice. So even if you signed it and did everything right, they could still just change it later and completely fuck you over. 5. And now we're getting to the good stuff. Wizards can terminate your contract at any time for any reason.
That's crazy.
Yes, if you piss Wizards off, like for example, by making a video just like this one, they can say, you're out. They have this clause which states they can kick you for any offensive materials included in your work. That sounds kind of sensible, right? Except this wording is just camouflage, because in reality, Wizards themselves are the ones who decide what is and isn't offensive, so they can kick you for anything they want. So if I piss them off, they could look through my content and say, look, this Castanute race has a subrace who live in a polyamorous society, and we find that offensive. Polyamory is contrary to Wizards of the Coast's stance on the sanctity of marriage or whatever. Your business is over. This is just an example, and yes, it sounds crazy because it is, but that is what Wizards of the Coast have the right to do. And most importantly, if Wizards of the Coast abused this, that creator can't sue them, because by signing this document, you waive your right to take legal action against Wizards of the Coast. The only reason this clause is in here is so Wizards of the Coast can do whatever they want to creators, and the creators can't do a thing back. This is an abusive level of coercion to hang over people's heads. Who is going to stand up to Wizards of the Coast
that's
if
so
they can
crazy.
just hold the thread of ending your business and putting your family on the streets if they don't like you? 6. Wizards of the Coast wants 25% of anything any business earns above $750,000 per year, or 20% if that money comes from Kickstarter. Now, this might not sound too relevant, but it is. Firstly, it kills all big Kickstarters. They are just not profitable enough to justify this type of gouging, but that is only the start. Remember, Wizards can change this contract at any time, so once you've signed up, that number could come down, where they're taking 20% of everything anyone earns over $20,000 a year, or 100% of everything you earn over $50,000 a year. Remember, you can't sue them, and they can change it at any time. This part of the clause is so obviously spiteful. Wizards of the Coast are a billion-dollar company. They don't care. Like, in terms of their bottom line, they don't care about getting an extra $100,000 here or there. They really don't care. This only exists to take a big chunk out of the creators who are making great D&D content. They damn well know that Kickstarters like Helliana's Guide and Fool's Gold and Eldritch Hunt are leagues better than anything Wizards of the Coast have released.
Too, like, I think Grim Hollow, the book that I used for my campaign, is literally fan-made. And has a lot of really good content and really good monsters in it. And I think that, like, that itself, like, it's been an inspiration for dark horror fantasy all over. Grim Hollow is literally everywhere. And it's fantastic to play with. And I've had a really good time using it in my campaigns with my players. And a lot of the monsters they don't even know about, because, like, it's part of a fan-made project, fan-made content. And, like, because of that, like, things like this would just not even exist because of it.
In years.
Because of the OGL.
So if the community are banding together and making you look bad by releasing amazing stuff, what do? Well, you just change the licensing agreement and completely screw them over. Oh, and you can steal their book as well, obviously, and then just sell it yourself, and then terminate their contract and put them out of business. Oh yeah, and they can't sue you for it. Amazing. But the drama just goes on and on. Wizards of the Coast have already been threatened with a lawsuit over the proposed changes to the OGL. The original creator of the OGL has come out and said, we made this with the belief and the intent that it would last forever, and we promised that it would last forever. People are boycotting Wizards of the Coast, tons of creators are just walking away from D&D altogether. It is hell on earth right now. This has honestly been the most stressful and difficult time to be a content creator that I've ever lived through. It's not just the financial security, although yes, that is terrifying. It is the knowledge that all the love and the work that I've put into the magazine and on Patreon across the last year is just gonna get funneled right into this greedy, shitty, coercive company. I've had content creator friends contact me in tears, worrying how they're gonna feed their kids. And for all that terror and cruelty and greed, Wizards of the Coast are justifiably taking a massive spanking on Twitter, Reddit, and YouTube. And what do Wizards have to say about all of this stuff? Well, absolutely nothing. Wizards have released no statements, no clarification.
Well, that's because they're waiting. Okay, so here's the thing, too. If Wizards of the Coast really want this to go through, they won't say anything. If they continue to say stuff, the drama will continue. If they want the drama to die down, they will wait until the people get done being angry, and then they will just not speak on it again and just let it go through. Like, that's if I were speaking for the devil advocate here, if they wanted to do this, the best option for them is to not talk. That's the best option for them. If they say anything else right now, they're on fire. I mean, they're already on fire, but like, it'll be mega fire, blue flame fire, right? So they need to, like, if they don't want this, they need to shut the fuck up. But they really do need to figure out and, like, come out and say, hey, look, we're not doing this again. We're sorry. We made a mistake. We're not doing this. That's the best option for everyone involved, is that this does not happen or to go through it all.
There are just hundreds of creators all over the world wondering if we're out of a job. I honestly don't see my relationship with Wizards of the Coast ever improving. Not that Wizards of the Coast ever wanted a relationship with me anyway, I know that, but I always tried to think the best of them. I really can't see, after what they've tried to do here, me ever thinking well of them as a company again. Please tweet at Wizards on Twitter, use the hashtag OpenDND, and make your feelings known. If you believe this is wrong, tell them, make a fuss, because that's the only way we can beat this. Anyway, I'll try to keep you updated on this. Remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
I've been doing daily posts on Twitter about the situation too. OpenDND, just posting out like other propaganda people have been posting around the Twitter space. So yeah, I'm hoping this gets fixed because I really like D&D. I just recently got really into it. Like my friend Taco got me into the entire process of it. I just recently became a DM. I've been a DM for like, I'd say about 20 sessions now, 20 plus sessions. And I've had a great time doing it. And I've really enjoyed the process, and I don't want that to go away. And I plan on making content on that at some point. I really do want to do content on D&D. I love the story. I love the place that I've made. I love the people that have been involved with the story making of these characters. And I really want to see them develop more. And it's hard to make them develop if I think that in the future I'm just going to get sued for it. So